The Maas River, or the Meuse if you're feeling French, flows about 575 miles from its source in France's Langres Plateau through Belgium and the Netherlands before reaching the North Sea. That makes it just a bit shorter than the Loire River in France, or just a bit longer than the Seine River that flows through Paris. The Maas is not among Europe's largest rivers by volume. Its average discharge is only about 1/10 of the Rhine's flow, but its basin has shaped trade, culture, and borders for over 2 millennia. Historically, the Maas was a natural highway of commerce and conflict, marking boundaries between powers from the Romans to Napoleon. Medieval towns like Liège, Maastricht, and Dordrecht grew up along its banks, thriving on trade, fishing, and later, industry. Today, it remains vital for shipping and inland transport. The river is part of the extensive Rhine-Maas-Scheldt Delta system, connecting the interior of Europe to major North Sea ports like Rotterdam and Antwerp. Roughly 50 million tons of goods move annually along the Maas and its canals, supporting a dense network of barges, ferries, and industrial ports. Alright, so here we are, Maastricht. This is the namesake for the Maas.
Start of the trip.
Our trip began in Maastricht, a medieval city named for the river Meuse Trajectum, or the crossing of the Maas. We started at the Basilica of Saint Servatius, one of the oldest churches in the Netherlands. Right now, and there's actually like some fun little spots. It looks like you could almost play in those little riffles. Yep. The river is very low right now. August level. Within minutes of departing, the cobblestone streets of Maastricht gave way to open riverbanks. The upper Maas here is narrow and lively, with riffles and gentle rapids, surrounded by green banks and small limestone bluffs that hint at the Ardennes just to the south. Through this upper section of the Maas, the route alternated between smooth paved dikes and packed gravel paths, a perfect mix to put our new gravel bikes to good use. Every bend brought new views, old farmhouses, church spires, windmills, and the slow rhythm of barges passing by. First little ferry ride, the trip. There were always plenty of great options for lunch stops along the way. Riverside cafes serving broodjes and bitterballen. Not bad, no kids.
No kids.
Freedom.
Here's for lunch.
Oh, there's the Roermond. See Roermond downtown.
In 400 feet, keep right at the fork, then turn right.
First windmill of the trip. Castle de Keverberg. Alright, let's go find some water.
Now continue.
On the first day, we crossed the river 3 times on small ferries. These crossings became one of the symbols of our trip, a kind of built-in pause. Most ferries shuttle back and forth all day, costing only €1 or €2 for cyclists. There's no schedules, no stress, you just hop on and you drift across. Our first night we stayed at this Bilderberg Castle, a grand 13th century estate turned hotel, surrounded by quiet forests near Venlo. It was the picture-perfect end to our first 55-mile day. Alright, we're staying in a castle. The Bilderberg Chateau, very fitting. The Netherlands. The next morning, we stopped in Venlo for coffee, and we were pleasantly surprised by its charm. The old town hugs the river with a mix of tiled historic facades and modern buildings. They're taking some more today, though. After another relaxing lunch stop, we rode through the town of Grave, or Grava, where we paused at a monument honoring the 1944 Allied operation to secure the Grave Bridge during Operation Market Garden. The bridge was one of the key crossings captured by paratroopers, an act that helped open the route from Nijmegen to Arnhem. After crossing the bridge, we lucked out with a steady tailwind that pushed us westward as the Maas began its big curve toward the North Sea. We ended the day at a remote riverside hotel. Alright, day three.
Day 3. 60 miles.
60 miles, 58.8 to go. My leg already is starting to hurt. My calf, my left calf. I can kind of see. I wonder which one won the award. These are all beers they make out of the spelt here in the mill. Some locally milled spelt. Really good. Windmill. Yeah, it's cool how they use a lot of the castles for events now and parties or hotels. Another windmill. I think that's As we reached the lower Maas, things got confusing in the best possible way. The river splits and braids into a labyrinth of waterways, merging with the Rhine and the Scheldt to form Europe's largest delta system. There's the Bergische Maas, the Oude Maas, the Nieuwe Maas, and other old channels the river once carved. The waterways seem to wander, just as we did, through reclaimed polders and quiet canals. All day. I feel like it has been pretty much windy all day.
Yeah, little pockets of like, oh, we're covering, and then boom.
This is our first ferry of the day, or? I think so, right?
Well, that little one.
Oh yeah, second ferry. Yeah, second. When I initially planned the route, I had no idea there was an official Maasroute with signs and markers to go with it. I had just used this app Komoot to plot a path that hugged the river as closely as possible from Maastricht to the Hoek van Holland. But as it turned out, we'd been following a well-loved route for most of the way. Following this route through this section would make it much easier to find your way. Hi Joseph, how did 70 miles, well, 67 miles feel?
It's brutal. I didn't think we were gonna finish. Headwind the whole time. Longest day on the third day. It was a slog. Glad we're here.
We spent our final night in Dordrecht, the oldest city in the Netherlands and one of the most atmospheric stops of the trip. The old town is a tangle of canals, crooked houses leaning over the water, and narrow alleys. Once a thriving trade hub on the Maas, Dordrecht was where the Dutch merchants made their fortunes. Perfect example of the leaning city of Dordrecht. Sleeping in these pods tonight. "40 miles left to go. Sounds easy." Our last day was the shortest at 40 miles distance. We rode past the metropolis of Rotterdam, under a long tunnel that carried us beneath the river, and out to the broad tidal sweep of the Nieuwe Maas. How are your legs feeling, Joseph? The final stretch to the Hoek van Holland was flat, windblown, and wide open. The Hoek van Holland, or the corner of Holland, is where the rivers finally meet the North Sea. There's a lot of glimpses of the immense engineering of the Dutch coast, where ships glide past beachgoers and kite surfers.
Van Holland.
Reaching the sea felt like the perfect ending.
Made it. We made it, man.
After snapping a photo, we quickly turned around and hopped on the train to go home. Alright, this is it. We're gonna spend all of 5 minutes here and hop on a train. We made it. It's actually a really nice beach. Overall, we both agreed that this was an amazing style of travel. Slow enough to immerse yourself and make memories at each stop, yet still covering real distance each day while pushing your body a little bit. It's like a river trip, but with fewer logistics and sorer legs. We're already planning the next one, perhaps the Rhine or the Meuse, or even completing the upper Maas from where it starts in France.